Hey friends, what's up? It's Abby, and today I've partnered with Beckett Simonon to share more about the world of fast fashion and who made my clothes during this week, which is Fashion Revolution Week. I've worked with Beckett Simonon before. I actually received a backpack from them a while ago, and I made a review which shares more about their brand, which I will link in the description box below if you want to check that out. Otherwise, they are a direct-to-consumer brand making artisanal goods, and they're based in Bogota, Colombia. So I found out about the fashion revolution about 5 to 6 years ago when I graduated high school. I remember my senior year, I had been learning about the agriculture industry and was just really shocked about all the behind the scenes with that. And then after my senior year, I took a gap year, which I have another video sharing about my gap year because that was just a really big experience for me and something that took a lot of time for me to make the decision to take the gap year in high school, but it ended up being a really great year and I learned a lot. And that's when I learned about the fashion revolution through a documentary, which used to be on Netflix, but I think now you can just find it on Amazon or maybe directly through their website, and it's called The True Cost. I just remember at the time being really involved with fashion. I never really wanted to go into design or anything with fashion, but I liked the idea of styling and just looking put together. I think there really is something to just how you present yourself and how you feel. There's just a little bit of self-care that goes along with that to me, and fashion really is and can be an art. So I just remember being really into that stuff in middle school and high school. But then after watching this documentary, I was just really confused because I didn't know that people were still so involved in making my clothes. For some reason, I just thought with how technologically advanced we are these days that machines would just make our clothes and there wouldn't be a lot of hand work involved in it. But after watching that documentary, I just realized that that really wasn't true. According to Good On You, which is a website I use primarily for their rating section, you can go there, type in a brand, and they will rate them according to different criteria for their sustainability and just ethical practices or non-ethical practices. But their website says that the fashion industry is still one of the most labor-intensive industries, and it employs 1 out of 6 of the world's workers. You would think that it would be good that it would employ so many people, but when you dig a little deeper, you'll find that the realities of the industry are just unsafe worker environments, worker violation rights, and then also just massive damage to the environment with all the waste and toxic chemicals. So yeah, if you look behind the screens or behind the scenes, I think you see the realities are not great. The good thing is there's so much potential that each of us have as individuals that I feel like everything with the environment, climate change can seem so big and grand and maybe daunting to people, but I think it's encouraging, especially with fashion, something that we use every single day, and every person hopefully wears clothes at some point in their life or every day, that we can each make a difference just by the things that we purchase and how we educate ourselves and share with others about what we're wearing. And on another note, I think similarly to changing your light bulbs or using less water, which actually is more cost effective for the average person, fashion can be similar because we've been marketed to that we need more things. We're in this world of consumerism where companies kind of say, if you have X, Y, or Z, you'll be happier, but that's simply not true, at least in my opinion. And so I think knowing more about the fashion industry, making more intentional purchases will benefit people too in the future and their bank accounts and just how they feel about what they're wearing. I heard this phrase a while ago and it really resonated with me, and it's when you know better, you do better. And this really rings true to me. I just feel like there have been so many things I've learned that now that I've learned about them, I can be more aware and conscious of the decisions that I'm making. I think as a consumer, it's really cool because I love sharing with my friends just where I got my item or knowing who made my clothes so I can be proud of that item. And then it's also just helping me to feel a more emotional connection with my clothing, which kind of sounds silly, but if you think about how much waste we have with clothing, I'm trying to remember how many tons we throw away a year, but it's a lot, like that the average consumer just throws away. Then you become more emotionally attached, so it's harder to throw that item away and you just care more about each item that you have. I know that buying more sustainable items right now is a privilege just because a lot of them are more expensive, especially for me. I'm just like one individual, but I can't imagine having a whole family and buying them all sustainably made items. But I think just even having the first step of just being aware and like being more intentional with your purchasing decisions is a really good way to start, and then slowly as you can investing into one piece, just because if you think about paying $5 for a t-shirt, which is equivalent to what I'll pay sometimes for a cup of coffee, then how much can the garment worker or the person that's making the item really be making? Like, can they be making a living wage off of that $5? And then on top of that, like, the item that you're getting is just made with cheap materials and put together really quickly, so it won't last you all too long. Also, for me, as I've grown more into a capsule wardrobe and investing more in less pieces, it's really helpful on the day-to-day because just figuring out what to wear is so much more simpler. It's much simpler when I can just go into my wardrobe and pick 2 items out that I know I love, instead of staring at like 100 pieces that I like don't have any attachment to. So it's just much harder for me to figure out what to wear. So I think that's just the benefit too, because sometimes it can be really stressful even to keep up with the trends or to figure out what to wear. And that's just one less decision that you have to think about every day and put a lot of mental effort into. Beckett Simonon is a good example of a brand just working to create more of an emotional attachment with the item that you're purchasing. I know when I was in the process of getting my backpack, I actually got email updates which shared about the behind the scenes in the factory, shared some stories from the people making my backpack, which was really cool to just be able to get more of a glimpse into who was making that item. They also participate in a partnership by donating some of their textile scraps to the School of Arts and Crafts in Bogota. And Adela, who I have been in contact with, she says that they think this should be the norm and they really want to encourage other companies to do the same as far as treating their workers well and just being a standard for the industry. Alright friends, that's about it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked, please make sure to thumbs up and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much to Beckett Simonon for partnering with me in this video. It's really encouraging and inspiring to see brands doing good and wanting to bring awareness to the behind the scenes of the fashion industry. And also, I've been posting a ton on my personal Instagram page, which is at @AEJLSmith, mostly for this whole month, just about why the fashion revolution is important to me. And yeah, you can find all of that on my Instagram. I might try to post more too during this week with some of the fashion revolution prompts. There are tons of those and different resources where you can learn more about the fashion revolution, why it matters, why it's important, and I'll put that down below as well. So yeah, thank you guys again, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! I want to do a quick recap because I realized I didn't even talk about why the fashion revolution happens or what it is. Basically, they are an organization based in the UK that was launched after the Rana Plaza collapse. So Fashion Revolution Week actually happens on the anniversary of that week of the collapse, which was back in 2013. It was just really a wake-up call, I think, for the fashion industry of different brands, big brands that were making their garments in this industry that really could have fix this issue and like didn't pay attention to the issues that were happening in the building and the infrastructure. So that launched the fashion revolution, and that's why this week happens every year.